overall Ryder Cup is as good as it gets as far as the crowds go. And I don't think they should have to apologize for that. Speaking of which, I recently, going back to my belly putter, I got this belly putter from Adele Golf. I got fitted for it back in August, and I used it for a little while, but I had trouble with distance control. So I put it on the shelf for a little while because I had a tournament, the Florida State Mid-Am, and then once that tournament was over with, I went back to trying the belly putter. Now I'm putting really, really well with it. And what I found was, conceptually, I had to kind of change how I thought of the belly putter and the stroke. I kind of got a little too focused on connecting this with the belly and then, making an arch stroke. But really, it's more about this kind of being, stroking it just like you would stroke a standard putter, except it's connected to the belly to kind of serve as a little bit of a reminder for your hands, and then also help you so you don't leave the blade open, which I tend to do. The kind of way I look at it is with a standard putter, you've got a lot more arm swing. With the belly putter, it's a little more hand swing instead of your arms. And I've been putting, I've used the last 3 rounds, I've been putting extremely well with it. So for those who are looking at belly putters, never putted with one, that's kind of one thing to look at. Also, there's going to be times where it's not really feasible to have the putter attached to your belly perfectly, because you may have a putt where the ball is well below your feet, or you may have like a 50-foot putt. There, I really don't really concentrate. I just kind of use it more like a standard putter. If I run into those situations, if I got a long putt, it's not going to be the end of the world if it doesn't fit perfectly on you on some putts. Okay, but yeah, I've been putting really about as well as I've putted in a long time, and I kind of wish I would have had that for the Florida State Mid-Am qualifier. Lastly, what I did is I made a post for the announcement for 2012 Pro Golf Synopsis, which is going to be a PDF format. It's going to cost $10. It's a downloadable PDF file. Hope to get that out before Christmas. For those who are not familiar with it, I refer to Pro Golf Synopsis as the Moneyball type approach to golf strategy and golf game analysis. If you've ever watched the movie Moneyball or read the book Moneyball, what it deals with is the story of the Oakland A's baseball team who use statistics to better strategize and make up their team. Because what the A's problem was is that they, in baseball, payroll has a very big, strong correlation to performance. Generally, if you can pay more for players, you're going to get the better players and you're going to get more wins. What Moneyball was about was finding undervalued players that could help them win, but they wouldn't have to pay a lot for them, because other teams in the leagues didn't value these players and their assets and how they play the game. Moneyball really all came from a guy named Bill James, who was a writer and baseball fanatic, who also was really good at math and statistics. He started writing a book called The Baseball Abstract. And I've been reading Bill James's work since I was like 10 years old, and then I moved on to other statistical theory in games like, Football Outsiders got the Football Almanac and stuff like that. So that's what kind of this Pro Golf Synopsis is very much like. The big thing that I like about it is that with Pro Golf Synopsis, if you're a 20 handicapper, you can use the information in there. And this year, what I've done is I've gotten together with some friends of mine that are also very well credentialed in statistics, and some of them actually have written work for baseball and football and basketball statistical analysis, and gotten together, get some help with them as far as statistics in golf, and kind of, bouncing ideas off them as well, and coming up with not only an analysis, or not only the findings, but an interpretation and analysis of those findings. And we've also split it down to what will help the tour player versus what will help the club champion to the 10 handicap to what will help the 25 handicap. Everything kind of changes depending on what the player's handicap is. One of the guys I go into, and this is a good example, is Bubba Watson. Bubba Watson's a little bit of a peculiar case because if you look at him, he almost never leaves the driver in the bag. He always hits it, but he hits it a mile. And he's not overly accurate off the tee, but he still uses the driver off the tee because he can keep it in play. With Bubba, his danger zone ranking, which is shots from 175 to 225 yards, is 11th out of 185 players. However, his danger zone ranking is more of a sign of his, what I call effectiveness, and not his skill in the danger zone. Meaning, if I put Bubba Watson with Jim Furyk at, say, 20 golf balls at 190 yards, Jim Furyk, I believe, would win. He would hit closer shots to the cup more often than not than Bubba Watson. The difference is that Bubba Watson rarely has a danger zone shot in a round of golf unless it's on a par 3. Well, the great thing about par 3s is that the grass is better, and also it's a flat lie, so it's an easier shot for Bubba Watson. Now, he doesn't hit it that well. He may hit it on average to 38 feet, while the rest of the field may hit that same shot to, let's say, 30 feet. But the rest of the field will have a bunch of danger zone shots on par 4s where they got to hit them from the fairway, where the lie may not be that great. They may, have a ball below their feet, above their feet, or even worse, if they have to hit it out of the rough, where it's very, very difficult, especially on tour, for anybody to hit danger zone shots close to the hole from the rough. Well, Bubba doesn't have to ever worry about that. So basically what Bubba does is he uses his power to his advantage. And, not all guys on tour do that. I mean, Gary Woodland's a good example. He's ranked second in ball speed and clubhead speed, yet 19th in driving distance. And believe me, when you're ranked 19th in driving distance, and you should be ranked second, that's a giant difference. And I watched Gary Woodland at Bay Hill earlier this year, and he was hitting a lot more irons and 3-woods off the tee than I thought he should be ever hitting. And what's happened is it's really affected his earnings this year. I mean, he's got some other problems as well, which I'll go into in the book. But and it's a great example of how, in part, other golfers can use this for their own game. If you're, let's say, a 15 handicap, and you're usually playing courses about 6,300 yards, but you legitimately hit it about 290 to 300 yards off the tee, well, you may think that the best route would be to start hitting more irons and 3-woods off the tee so you can keep the ball in the fairway. But really what you may need to do is you may need to keep the driver, you may need to keep on hitting the driver. You just got to figure out a way to gauge when to use it, where you keep it in play, even if you miss the fairway, versus hitting your hybrid or 3-wood off the tee. But definitely there's a big inherent advantage to hitting the ball far, even if you don't even hit it all that accurately. And this is stuff we go on in the book. So this is the first week of doing this, and hopefully I'll get a little bit better this week in review. And if you have any questions, you can email them to me at richie3jack@yahoo.com, and I'll probably go over them in the next week in review. All right?